Hey Mikhail, thanks for being able to do this. I think it's going to be a pretty cool project, and I want to give you a quick introduction on why we're doing this, um, and then I'll show you what the task is that I'm hoping that you can do. So we're trying to train a neural network that's going to classify sounds into specific types of cowbird vocalizations. So what do we mean by that? So I'm going to skip down to here. So there are lots of different vocalizations, and I can send you this spreadsheet. It's a little messy. The video is probably going to be more clear. But we divide all the vocalizations that the cowbirds do into song, which has that kind of bloop bloop bleep, that sound to it. It's a glug glug whistle. Then you have just whistles, and you also have, and I should actually add this here also, you also will often have just the introductory notes, so just a glug glug, or sometimes you'll just have whistles. Okay, so these are the main vocalizations that males make. You have the song, which is composed of the introductory note and the whistle, and then you have separate introductory notes or whistles. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let me show you what this song sounds like. And here I've just emphasized this. So you can see on the spectrogram, these here are these introductory notes, and this is the high whistle. Okay, so we can listen to a couple examples. So you can hear that glug glug, and we'll hear another example, and another example. So there's quite a bit of variety in the song setup, but it's very characteristic for those low notes and then that high whistle. Okay, you'll also hear whistles alone, so really just this end part of the song, and they can come in a few different forms. We'll listen to a few examples. So you have a single high-pitched whistle here, and then you can have more of a trill or another high-pitched whistle. So you can have a little bit of variability in the whistles themselves, but they'll be just this whistle, separated from the glug glug. Okay? Okay, there are also female vocalizations we call chatter or rattle. I think I call them rattle in the annotation that you're going to be doing. This is what that sounds like. So it's that noise right there. That ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Okay, and here's another example. Right there. Okay, so that's what rattle sounds like. There's one more sound that I'm going to have to add into this video here. That's called a chuck, but it basically is just this little brah, brah, brah. Sometimes they make it a little bit brah, brah, brah. But I'll add in some examples here after the fact. I need to find a good example of it. Okay, one of the biggest things you're going to have to tell the difference is between cowbirds and non-cowbirds. Okay, so there are a lot of birds that hang out near our aviary that are not cowbirds, and we need to tell the difference between them. So the most common ones you're going to hear will be house sparrows. They'll be quiet, and they have more of a high chirp to them. So it's more like choo, 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 choo. That's kind of what a house sparrow sounds like. We'll see some examples. Okay, that was a house sparrow. That's a house sparrow. House sparrow. I think that's a house sparrow. I'm actually not positive what bird that is. But in all of those cases, they're high, but not as high as a whistle, and they're going to be short, and they're going to be pretty repetitive. Okay, this you'll have to get an ear for it. If you're not sure if it's a cowbird or a different bird, don't mark it. It's better to have fewer examples that we're all really confident about than examples where you're not sure. Okay, but if you're finding that you're hearing a lot of birds and you can't tell which ones they are, maybe talk to me and we can talk about some more examples. Some other birds besides house sparrows will be pretty easy. That was a crow. You can hear some house sparrows in the background. You can hear a robin singing out over the top of it. So all of these are not cowbirds. Okay, so the cowbird vocalizations. So the cowbird vocalizations are going to be really consistent. Just these chatters, the intranote and whistle or song combination, or that little chuck, which I'll give you an example of. We're going to do this all unsupervisedly. I think you'll need to set up a Supervisely account, which is super easy. You just Google Supervisely, set up an account, and I'll send you an email about that. All right, so after you've gotten Supervisely all set up, you'll get to your data set. So there are a few ways you can do this. You can either come over, probably the easiest way is go to this tab. You'll have to log in. Go to this tab, Labeling at Scale, over here. And then it will show you the job that's assigned to you up here. So I have a job assigned to me down here, and if I click on it, it's going to go directly to the job. If you can't find this for some reason, you can actually go all the way in, click on Current Team, Aviary Anniversary, Annotations, First Workspace, and you'll scroll down to the bottom, click on the sound classification, and I've assigned, or I will have assigned this May 7th to you. Okay, so this will be the data set we're annotating, and then you can click on it here. Or again, you can just click on it in this Labeling at Scale and click on the job that's assigned to you. That'll be easier. Okay, so we've talked about a few different types. I'm going to show you what some of these sound like, and we'll show you the annotation process. Okay, so let's start from this first one. You can press play or you can press enter to play the video. The sound goes on for a little bit longer, which is a little annoying, but I couldn't fix that. So, okay, so that was a sound. Let's listen to it again. I'm actually going to label that a different bird. That doesn't really sound like a cowbird to me. It might be a whistle. That starting sound is really unusual for a cowbird. The second part might be a cowbird. In fact, I'm just going to leave this blank for now, because I'm not confident enough about what this particular example is. So let's move on to the next one. We'll just leave it blank. Okay, that's easier. That's a whistle. You can hear a kind of whistly trill of the cowbird. You don't hear any of that characteristic glug glug at the beginning. So that's why we've labeled this a whistle. Okay. All right, on to the next one. This looks like a rattle to me. You see this, but let's listen to it. Great. So that is a rattle. We're going to click rattle here. All right, and you can see after you click these, they get attached to the video right there. All right, so that's a rattle. And you can actually hear over during that rattle, there's a song over the top of it, right? So you hear this rattle. You can hear that song happen also. In these cases, and this will happen quite a bit with rattle, we're gonna click everything you hear. So here we hear a song, and this is really important. We click on this overlapping vocalization. This is the most important one to hear. So we're going to be using some of these for sound localization, and we want it to not have to try to localize two different sounds that are coming from two different locations happening at the same time, because we think that will probably not work well. So we want to specifically identify times of overlapping vocalization. So I've labeled that here. All right, on to the next one. Okay, that sounded like a song. Yep, that was a song. So you heard that glug glug and whistle. So it's not only that like low note and high note, but you can also listen for kind of the rhythm of it. It has this kind of glug glug whistle, which will help you tell the difference between that and the whistles with a little bit more variability. Okay, let's listen to that one more time. Okay, we'll click on song. And you might wonder, So you can hear right at the beginning of this, you can hear some house sparrows singing in the background. That little chirping in the background is house sparrow. We could maybe add some non-cowbird bird tags, but it's so quiet and so minimal that I don't want to include it in this one. You'll have to kind of use your judgment, but think about like what the primary vocalization is and whether the background noise is really a significant part of it. Okay, let's look at this one. This looks like another rattle. So that is a rattle. It starts with a song, or maybe even just a straight whistle. Yeah, so it sounds like at the beginning you have a male whistle that you can see right here, this whistle, and then the female rattles in response to that. So we're going to click on rattle, overlapping vocalization, and whistle. On to the next one. This is another rattle. I can already see there's another song buried in here. So same thing, whistle, rattle, overlapping vocalization. Okay, and all attached. All right, and you'll just keep going through that. This is another rattle overlapping a song. But that was a song, not a whistle, right? You can hear that rhythm and those glug glugs at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to click song, rattle, overlapping vocalization. Okay. So we have a lot of these. Here's a straight vocalization. So that's just a whistle. So you couldn't hear any like strong low notes, and you didn't have that like bump bump bloop rhythm to it. Okay, even though there is a lower component to that whistle, right? You can see this little lowish note, but that's going to be, hopefully I can find a good example of a song. That's going to be a lot higher and a different rhythm than the song itself. The same thing as the whistle. Oh, I think I forgot to actually click. Nope, I did. Great. And you can see you don't have to save anything. As soon as you click something, it's saved. So you don't have to like worry about saving, or if you close this browser, it will all be there. Okay, you can hear a little bit of rattle, a little bit of whistle. I think I'll label all three along with overlapping vocalization. It's really important that we get overlapping vocalization on these ones that are overlapping, or else it's going to mess up our sound localization. Okay, I was on page 4 here, which I didn't actually notice, but we finished the page, so we'll move on to the next page. I actually want to go back to the first page to show you a good song example, which I think is this one right here. Okay, so you can hear it starts with a whistle, but I'm actually going to label this a song because the song component itself is pretty much the entire file, and it is distinct. There's no overlap here. Okay. So we're going to label that song. Just look at this one. This looks like a whistle probably. But that's a whistle. This might be an overlapping whistle. Yeah, I'm going to call that an overlapping whistle. I think this is actually two different males whistling to each other. You hear that there are two sounds that overlap. So I'm going to click overlapping vocalization. It's going to be pretty hard to tell the difference between that, but I think as you listen to more, you'll get a sense for what whistles normally sound like. And so when you hear two stacked on top of each other, you'll recognize that that's not something a single song would do. I think this is just a straight song. Yeah. So you can hear it's pretty quiet, but you can hear right at the beginning this like bloop bloop before the whistle. Okay, so So we're going to click on song. All right, so that's the whole job. You're just going to keep going through, clicking these, and labeling. This looks like a rattle, you can see. And that's just a straight rattle. There were no songs overlapping that, so we're just going to click on rattle. Okay, hopefully this is clear. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. This looks like a really good example of a song, maybe with some rattle here. Let's see what it sounds like. Yep, exactly. So you can hear the song, and then the rattle coming in at the end. So same thing. Rattle, song, and overlapping vocalizations. All right, so that's the job. I wish I had more examples to show you of outside birds. You will probably get to them, and you'll know them mostly by the fact that they don't sound like everything else. Okay, so the range of cowbird vocalizations is actually pretty limited. So it's just these whistles, these songs, the rattles from the females, and then occasionally these like chucks, which I've given you an example of by now, hopefully. So anything else you hear that doesn't match that is going to be a different kind of bird. And if you hit something that you're not sure about, again, just ask me. I'll take a look at it, and I hopefully will know what it is. So that's all. You'll just get a really good ear for bird vocalizations, and at the end of this, we'll have a neural network that can do this for us. Thank you so much for doing this. This is going to be a huge help for this project and everything we're doing in the aviary in the future. So have a great time doing this, and again, let me know if you have any questions.